Jeremy, I've been thinking about our conversation, and there is something I wanted to share with you a little more clearly. For a long time, I looked at different parts of my life as separate stories: my corporate career, technology, water, failures, mission work, my faith, writing a book, building tools, meeting different people, and now Kingdom Factor. But lately, when I put those events on a timeline, I'm beginning to see something very different. I'm beginning to see how God may have been putting pieces together for a very long time. Years ago, I became involved with an Icelandic startup called Proper Pipe. The technology was designed to improve HDPE pipeline systems, infrastructure used to move water, chemicals, energy products, and other resources. I helped establish the company in the United States. We pursued testing, accelerator programs, industry validation, and eventually we entered the Clean Tech Open competitions in Massachusetts. We won regional recognition, then New England recognition, and eventually national recognition. And that opened a door I never expected. We were invited to present the technology as one of the top global innovations to the King of Saudi Arabia. After the presentation, representatives from Aramco brought me into a private room and they presented an offer: $21 million for 49% of the company. There was one major condition: the team would relocate to Saudi Arabia and the technology would become privately controlled. I called the president of the company. He immediately rejected the offer. At the time, I saw that mostly as a lost business opportunity. Today, I see it differently because that moment proved something important. The technology had real value. The idea wasn't imaginary. Someone was willing to put $21 million behind it. But maybe the timing and the purpose wasn't right yet. Eventually, I left the company. I had worked almost 2 years without compensation. I had responsibilities as a father. I needed to buy food. I needed to pay child support. So I walked away. At one point, I was living in my mother's basement and driving Uber. And from a business perspective, that chapter looked like a complete failure. But during that season, something else happened. I went on a mission trip to the Dominican Republic, and it reminded me that my life couldn't simply be measured by career success or money. Something deeper was happening. Then God brought Tara into my life, and this is where another piece appeared. Long before she knew me, Tara had developed a passion for clean water. As a young woman, she visited El Salvador and saw communities living around unsafe water. That experience helped influence her decision to become a mechanical engineer. Years later, she built her career at Cummins and became involved in environmental and sustainability work, including exposure to Cummins Water Works. So now look at the alignment. I had spent years around technology designed to improve the transportation of water, and I married an engineer who had carried a desire since childhood to help people gain access to clean water. Neither of us planned that. Then came one of the strangest and most important moments in this whole story. In 2022, during Fight Club at church, I was carrying an enormous amount of pain from my family. A group of men gathered around me and prayed, and while I was asking God for help with something very personal, I heard a question. Twice. What have you done with what I have given you, and where I have put you? And then I saw something, almost like a short movie. I saw the old Proper Pipe joint sink into an open grave marked RIP. It looked dead, finished. But then, through the cross, prayer, and the body of God, water and resources moved underneath it, and the technology began to rise out of the grave. As it rose, it benefited people around the world. And then the benefit flowed back into the body of God, creating a circle of resources, service, technology, and kingdom impact. I drew the vision that night because I didn't want to forget it, and for a long time, I didn't know what to do with it. Then another message kept coming during prayer. Write a book. I resisted it. English isn't even my first language. Writing a book sounded ridiculous, but the message kept returning. Then, within a very short period of time, I learned that several people who had shaped my life had died. My aunt, former business leaders, mentors, and Pa, my youth pastor. And suddenly I understood something. Their knowledge was disappearing with them, except for the pieces they had given to people like me. That's when I realized, if God allows us to learn something, maybe we're responsible for passing it forward. That eventually became Sticky Change, and the able model. Meanwhile, Tara and I still couldn't shake the water vision. So I contacted the attorney who had worked on the original patents. That created a possible opening. Then Tara remembered someone she knew, an engineer who, almost inexplicably, had left engineering and become a patent attorney. He initially told us helping would be extremely difficult and expensive. Then, about a month later, he called us. He had presented our situation to his firm. They accepted the work into their 2026 pro bono program. A major law firm agreed to provide the legal research and labor needed to help us determine whether there was a legitimate path forward. We couldn't have engineered that ourselves, and that eventually led Tara and me to create Solid Melt. But Solid Melt isn't really the final vision. The vision is much bigger. The goal is to build something commercially valuable. Protect it, develop it, prove it, create something manufacturers, municipalities, investors, and communities actually want. But if God allows that business to succeed, we want some of those resources to eventually help bring physical water and spiritual water to communities around the world. The business supports the mission. The mission creates impact. The relationships create opportunities, and the impact creates more capacity to serve. It's remarkably similar to the circle I saw in that vision years ago. And then, while building SGA praxis and looking for ways to support my family, I connected with SCORE. A SCORE mentor introduced me to Kingdom Focus. And suddenly another piece appeared: Christian business leaders helping other Christian business leaders solve real business problems through biblical principles. And that grabbed me, because for most of my career, I helped leaders at companies like GE, Schneider Electric, government agencies, and other organizations navigate transformation. And I started asking myself, why wouldn't I use those same abilities to help Christian business leaders? Kingdom Factor brings together things that I used to keep in separate boxes: faith, business, leadership, coaching, change, stewardship, and helping people. As I described in another reflection on this journey, maybe sticky change, ABEL, SGA praxis, and these other experiences weren't destinations at all. Maybe they were preparation. Jeremy, when I look at these things individually, they can seem random, but look at the timeline, the technology, the $21 million offer demonstrating its potential, losing the company, mission work, meeting Tara and discovering her calling around water, the vision, being told to write the book, sticky change, the ABLE model, the mission impact navigator, the patent door reopening. A major law firm unexpectedly taking us on pro bono, Solid Melt, and now Kingdom Factor. I can't prove where all of this ultimately leads, and I don't want to pretend that I know God's entire plan, but I also don't think I should ignore the pattern. And interestingly, alongside all of this, there is another message I've felt repeatedly. Take your time. Don't force the doors. Don't run ahead. Find the right people. Listen to wise counsel. Let God open doors, and let Him close them too. That's part of why conversations like the one you and I had matter to me. I need people around me who have experience, people who will ask hard questions, people who aren't impressed by a big vision just because it sounds exciting, and people who understand that stewardship matters as much as opportunity. And that leads to one more piece: the Kingdom Factor Collective. Remember what ultimately pushed me to write Sticky Change? People who had invested years of wisdom into me were dying, and I realized that when leaders leave this earth, enormous amounts of knowledge disappear with them, unless somebody captures it. That's exactly what we're trying to do with the collective. We're capturing the stories of Christian business leaders, not simply what they built, but how their faith shaped the way they led, how they handled difficult decisions, how they stewarded money, how they treated people, what they got wrong, what God taught them, and what they would tell the people coming behind them. The collective is designed to preserve those stories, amplify kingdom impact, and equip other Christian leaders through real examples of faith-driven leadership. Jeremy, that's why I want you to be part of this. I've personally benefited from your leadership. Things you taught me years ago are still influencing the way I think today. And you've accumulated lessons that somebody coming behind us needs to hear. I don't want those lessons to disappear. I want to capture them. Jeremy, I don't know exactly how all these pieces end up fitting together, but I'm becoming convinced that God doesn't waste much. Not our successes, not our failures, not our relationships, not our experience, and sometimes not even the doors that close. Maybe our responsibility is simply to pay attention, steward what He's already given us, and take the next faithful step. Thank you for being one of the people who has helped shape my journey, and I really hope you'll let me capture part of yours. God bless you, my friend. I'll talk to you soon.